Can you use the makeup you had as a teenager? As much as I would love to do that, pretty much all of the makeup I used to use has been discontinued. So instead, let's recreate how I used to do my makeup as a teenager. And honest to God, I don't want to expose myself. This is the makeup I used to do as a teenager. The brows were large and in charge. They was just so aggressive. The foundation I used to use was the Dream Matte Mousse from Maybelline. Girl, I wanted my base to be matte, like the mattest base you could possibly get. Unfortunately, I can't get that foundation anymore. I tried searching for it. Apparently they just don't sell it. So instead, we're just going to go in with a matte foundation that I already have, and this is from NARS. And I used to blend it in with my fingers. I used to blend it in with my fingers, and then I'd go over at the end with a brush just to make sure it was all blended in. So I think I started wearing makeup in like year 8. In year 7, I didn't wear any makeup at all. Now for concealer, I do still use the product that I used to use as a teenager, and this is the L'Oreal True Match Concealer. I have religiously been wearing this since high school. Oh my gosh, I automatically started applying this concealer like I do now. So I did used to do the triangle method, the famous triangle concealer method. Now for concealer in high school, I actually don't remember what I blended it out with. I think I used to use the Real Techniques sponge. I don't have that anymore, so I'm just gonna have to use the sponges that I have. And instead of like bringing the concealer up like this, just blended it all in. There's no rhyme or reason. We just blended it. So I didn't used to blush, fun fact. So we're gonna have to skip that step. Now it's time to powder. And when I used to use the Dream Matte Mousse, I didn't powder at all. Your girl didn't know what she was doing. She did not powder that. I thought because it's a matte foundation, it's just gonna keep me matte. I don't need to set it. Girl, by the end of the day, I had creasing around most of my lines. My underneath my eyes was creasing. It was a hot mess. But I think when I got into either late year 9 or year 10, that's when your girl upgraded and she started wearing MAC. And I used a powder from MAC, but I don't have that anymore, and I don't even remember what powder it was. So I'm just gonna use a powder that I already have. And I know I would have dipped my brush and just patted it on. Okay, so for brows, this is the scary part. I had thick, juicy eyebrows. So for my eyebrows, I actually used to use powder to fill in my eyebrows, and I would always use black. I don't know why. And I used to use this brand in Superdrug, and I don't remember for the life of me what the brand was called. And I used to buy this little compact, and it had like black shade, a lighter shade, a little bit of brow wax, and like a tiny, tiny angular brush to fill in the brows. Past Dominique loved a big chunky eyebrows. I actually shaved half of my eyebrows off because I wanted it to be more rather than so I'm gonna have to draw that back on. For the start of the eyebrow, I'd fill it in like this, and then I'd shade it, like use the brush to shade it upwards so it looked a little bit more feathered. Let's move on to eyeshadow. And for eyeshadow, I just used to use my eyebrow powder. Times were tough, girl. We had to just work with what we had. And at this point, I didn't really know what I was doing with eyeshadow. But I remember, I think it was like late into high school, I did start buying the Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes, and those just changed my life. I used to wear eyeliner every day in high school, and sometimes I'd push my look and do a lot and I'd get told off for it. But the eyeliner I always used to use was from the Natural Collection in Boots, and it was this big long liquid liner with like a long pointed tip. We're just gonna do a really small wing. So for mascaras, I always used to chop and change, but it would always be from Maybelline, and I'd used to coat the hell out of my lashes. Like I'd do at least like 3 coats of it. A very crucial step that I always did before I left the house was highlight. And I used to use a highlighter from Makeup Revolution, I'm pretty sure, and I'd always apply it to my inner corner, and of course use this bad boy and apply it right here. Now I actually do have the products that I used to use, and I always used to use the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream, and this is the shade that had me in a chokehold. This is Copenhagen. Me and matte berry lips were just in a chokehold. No overlining or anything like that. And this is how I do my makeup as a teenager. Safe to say, a lot has changed when I do my makeup now. Maybe I should wipe this side off and do a half and half of how I used to do my makeup and how I do my makeup now.